Seated in this hall today are young people with disabilities, some who are staff of Hope Inspired Foundation, some who are young people with disabilities leading change in various sectors. Some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are in the private sector, some of them are in the development sector as well. I'll be talking on leading beyond disability. Half of the world's population are below 30. That means that categorically, most of the people seated here are young people. According to the World Bank, an estimated 1.3 billion, which is about 16% of the world's population, are persons with disabilities. And if we're to bring it down home to Nigeria, in 2020, the stat says over 27 million persons, there are over 27 million persons with disabilities. And of course, we know that, a reasonable proportion of that figure are youth with disabilities. These figures are certainly not figures that we can sweep under the carpet just like that. And it's very important. I feel like today being a remarkable day where we acknowledge the achievements of young people and recognize the great work that young people are doing. It's a good day to draw attention to issues on disability inclusion, inclusive development, and indeed the needs of youth with disabilities. Simply because as a result of their disability, they experience more adverse outcomes of socioeconomic exclusions. And some of these exclusions stem from inaccessibility of infrastructural facilities. You have gaps in service delivery. We have unavailability of assistive devices and technologies. The world is talking digital, and virtual spaces, but a lot of those are not accessible to persons with disabilities. We also have inaccessible communication, and the list goes on. And all of these combine to, either systematically exclude persons with disabilities from meaningful participation and indeed, maximizing their potentials. I believe that with enabling platforms, with empowerment opportunities, and indeed with the right tools, Nigerian youth, can take the lead in their various communities and make a difference in the world around them. And I think it's the same for youth with disabilities. I stand here this morning boldly to talk about the topic leading beyond disability, because as a youth myself, and indeed a youth with a disability, I've had my own fair share of some of these challenges that I just mentioned some moments ago. A very notable example that comes to mind was in 2016 when I was out of job and I had to go seeking for volunteer opportunities. And the moment the CEO discovered I was blind, his attitude changed. He treated me so badly. He started to ask me questions like, what do you think you can do around here? How are you going to come to work? Some of those concerns were genuine, but then a lot of it was someone who had written me off completely, even before giving me an opportunity to prove myself. That might be the reality of a lot of us young people seated here, confronted daily with different challenges, high cost of living, now subsidy removal. For those of us that are doing businesses, we know how that is biting on us. And even those of us in paid employment, we have to transport to work, we have to do all of these things. And as I said, for a young person with a disability, it is even twice as worse for them. But my question to you as we have conversations is, how are you using those challenges to take a lead, to make a difference? How are you using those problems to provide solutions? Because for me, a lot of those challenges have not defined who I am. Rather, I have used them as stepping stones to keep climbing. Because I come to understand, when we talk about leadership, people say leadership is about influencing people towards a common goal. But I like to see leadership as having the opportunity to be able to empower people to live all of their God-given potentials. And in doing that, it means that whatever it is I am doing, whatever change I am taking the lead on is bigger than me. So there's a particular project I started in 2015. And in 2018, we were confronted with monetary challenges. Everything wasn't just working. And I was going to meet my volunteers to tell them, you know what, this program is not holding. How was I going to come out to tell these people that a vision that I have and I have sold to them, you know, they're carrying it even way beyond me that had it. So at that moment, it dawned on me that this is certainly beyond me. So I'm asking you as well, you know, in your various spaces, how are you impacting? How are you ensuring that the people around you tap in, they buy into that dream? And for young people with disabilities as well, how are we ensuring that we are not leaving one group behind? We talked a lot about the Sustainable Development Goals and the 2030 Agenda. And one of the key mantras of that Sustainable Development Goals says, leaving no one behind. How are we ensuring that young people with disabilities are not left behind in all of this inclusive development that we're talking about? So I would like to say, for us to be able to foster sustainable inclusion and meaningful engagement of young people with disabilities across various sectors, certainly a multifaceted approach is required. And it begins with raising awareness and sensitizing our communities on disability rights and the value of diversity, which is one of the things that I appreciate S.M.I.L.E for. They recognize diversity, they value it, and they take a step at it. So let's give a round of applause to S.M.I.L.E. And beyond recognizing the value of diversity is also the need to push for inclusive and enabling policy environments for young people with disabilities to also be able to thrive. And in addition to that is creating accessible public spaces, advocating for equal opportunities in the areas of employment, education. And then pivotal to driving that change is collaboration. We cannot talk less on that. There is certainly a need for collaboration between the government, non-state actors, and other stakeholders. And when we talk about harnessing the leadership potentials of young people with disabilities, certainly empowerment and mentorship programming plays a transformatory role. We must provide tailored trainings, mentorship, and resources that can nurture the talents that these young people with disabilities have and create enabling environments for them to be able to step confidently into different leadership roles. Permit me at this point to talk about the Hope Inspired Foundation for Women and Youth with Disabilities. It's an organization of persons with disabilities which I founded in 2015. We have had a remarkable journey, and I would say that our journey has been one of a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of determination. And that is the reason why I am proud to say that Hope Inspired Foundation stands as a symbol of hope, consistently transforming lives and inspiring others to lead beyond disability. To conclude, I want us to recognize that disability is not inability or unproductivity. Rather, by embracing diversity and championing inclusivity, we are able to tap into the vast potentials of all members of society. We can join hands, work hand in hand to break barriers, to create more enabling spaces, and also to advocate for equal opportunities in education, in employment, and in leadership roles for all persons. Because I believe that together we can build a world whereby everyone, regardless of your ability, can thrive and lead with purpose. We can join forces to shape a brighter and inclusive future where our story would not be just the story of us only leading change, but rather this story of ours will be the norm for all young persons with disabilities globally. I want to thank S.M.I.L.E and everyone seated here for the commitment to ensuring inclusiveness in development. And I believe that together we can lead beyond disability and create a world that recognizes the potentials of all and celebrate that. Thank you.